Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Craig. This is Mutt's Gear Shack. Got another unboxing for you guys today, so let's just dig into it. And the box has got some damage on it right there, so let's hope that the guitar itself isn't damaged. We got no damage, so that's good. We got a Zakk Wylde replica camo bullseye. This one actually says made in China. Don't see any damage on it, so that is good news. Fretboard looks nice. I can feel finish on the back of the neck. It's definitely glossy, but the fretboard, I'm sure it has like probably a wipe-on poly, but it feels more like natural wood. So that's nice. Yeah, I don't see any issues right off the bat here. A little dusty. We will, of course, get a closer look at it here. It's a small pin bridge, which I like. Not really MGs. But I'm going to be getting the MG Zakk Wylde kit for this policy. Alright. Take a closer look. Alright, let's get these strings off of here. Do a little fret work and put some new strings on and set her up. You see the fret ends are balled over nice, so we won't have to dress those. We'll just have to give them a good polish, which we're going to use our micro mesh polishing pads, and we'll run them all the way up because there's some they're just not super smooth. They're not terrible, not the worst I've had, but they're not great either. One thing I had noticed right here, and you can see I've touched it up. You can see on this side here, they had the clear coat going up the side of the neck too much, and I just ran my fingernail across it, and it chipped off some of the paint. You can see how deep that cavity is. That's just ridiculously deep. Nothing marked on the back of this, but like I said, we know they're not really MGs. Just like blown away how deep that pickup cavity is. That is ridiculous. I mean, come on. That's almost as deep as the whole guitar itself, I think. Wowzer. Not near as deep as the neck pickup was routed for, so that's interesting. Nothing on the back of that one either. You can see they got some file marks on the back of the pickup ring there. Not that it's a big deal to me, but different. Every time you get these Chibsons, you never know what the attention to detail is going to be, or lack thereof. See the edges there; it's not real smooth. The bridge, no markings there. Just cheap stuff. On the real Gibson Zakk Wylde camo, they have this style, the reflector top knobs, so we're going to be replacing them with some actual Gibson ones. And like I said, I'm going to be doing the Zakk Wylde EMG pickup set. It comes with the pots and the switch and everything, so that's all going to be swapped out. I'm going to be putting these on here so it's a little more accurate looking. There's the other knobs on. Looks a lot better. And we've got full-size pots. I'm going to be swapping those out anyway, but there are full-size ones. And there's in our switch cavity. Nothing much to see, but there it is. I'm going to knock the shine off the back of this neck just with some steel wool. Going to remove the finish, the razor blade, just scrape down the satin finish they got on it, and I'll put a true oil finish on there. It's like the way a natural fretboard feels, and I may strip the back of the neck too. I'm not sure yet. Alright guys, we're going to use our micro mesh polishing pads. I'm going to go from 1500 all the way to 12,000, so it makes for real nice smooth frets. So these aren't terrible, but this will definitely smooth them up a lot. Takes out any of the file marks that they didn't get. Alright, got all our frets polished up with our micro mesh pads. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of mother's polish. They are so shiny already, this step probably isn't even necessary. Frets are all nice and polished up now. Let's get a measurement on our nut. So we're at 43.10 millimeter, 1.696 inches. Get a measurement of our 12th fret here. And we're at 53.93 millimeter, or 2.123 inches. First fret neck depth is 22.43 millimeter, or 0.883 inches. 12 is 25.82 millimeter, or 1.016 inches. Alright, going to test our pickups here, see what we're reading. Bridge pickup, we're reading 10.64. That's interesting. Neck, 12.37. Neck is hotter than the bridge unless they've got the wiring flipped. Middle, 5.732. Let's try our bridge again. Yep, I'm wondering. Yeah, I turned the volume pot down and disappeared. So, interestingly enough, our neck pickup is hotter than our bridge pickup. Well, that's what you get with these Chinese pickups, though. Who knows about them? I'm going to use our fret rocker here, see if we got any high frets. I don't have anything to take the frets down at the moment, so nothing we can really do about a high fret at the moment. once we get some tools to do that, we can take care of it. So I'm going to put a little bit of True Oil on our fretboard. Pretty much just kind of seals it, but allows it to feel like natural wood, really. Just wave it on. We'll let this soak in for a few minutes, and then we will buff it up with the rag. You can put as many coats as you want on. You can if you put a lot of True Oil coats on, it can almost be like a glossy looking finish once you sand and buff it up. I'm not going that crazy because I just want the natural wood. And I can see here where I missed a couple spots of the finish because the True Oil isn't soaking in. That tells you real quick. It's fairly clean thing. We got our Allen head adjustment down in there. I'm going to be putting some Ernie Ball hybrid slinkies, 9-46, and no, these are not from Temu. Do not buy your strings from Temu. If you get a guitar from Temu, it's one thing. You can replace all the parts on it because it's all cheap. But if you get strings from Temu, they will not be Ernie Ball strings, and the quality will probably be crap. I'll buff up the fretboard now after it's been setting a bit. Once you put the True Oil on, it kind of lifts the grain a little. But even doing something like this, we'll kind of knock it back down again. I'm going to check our action now. At the 12th fret. And I'm getting 1.75, so I'm going to lower that a little bit. That's a little too high for me. Oh, let's check again. Yeah, right about where I like it. Right about 1.25. So let's check our high E, our low E, sorry. We're about 1.50, and that's pretty close to usually where I like it on the low E side. So let's tune her up a little bit more and check it out. So we're getting a little bit of buzz right here, so we're going to put a little bit of relief on our neck because there's not much in it right now, and we changed string gauges. That's about a quarter a turn. Alright guys, I've had this thing about a week now. I've done a lot of work on it. I knocked the shine off the back of the neck with just steel wool. I think eventually I am going to completely remove the finish, but it's a big job and I just didn't want to tackle it just now. As you see, I did take all the finish off the fretboard, put True Oil on that, and that feels great. I just like the way that feels, and the fretboard will wear in nicely too. Fret issues. This guitar it needs some work. Straight out of the box, intonation was a complete mess. The string action was on the frets. It wasn't playable at all. So this guitar out of the box was pretty much hot garbage. But like I showed you, finish was up over onto the side of the fretboard. When I ran my fingernail across it, it literally chipped it off, and it's getting worse. I touched up with a little bit of black paint, and it looks like crap, and it's going to get worse. So I contacted the seller, and they offered I could return it or take a $36 credit. At the point where I damaged that, I had already removed the finish off the fretboard, so there was no point in trying to send this thing back. That was definitely a flaw on their part, though. And there's lots of little imperfections on this thing where they were buffing, they screwed up. There's some like little black dots here. I don't even know what that's about, and it's kind of rough along some of the edges. From a few feet away, it looks perfectly fine. But I'm going to have to get some tools and level the frets. I got a high frets right about here and down here, and you can kind of hear. There's quite a bit of buzz right in here. It's even through the amp, I can hear it a little bit. I've messed with it a little bit, and I got it as good as I can get it. I just raised the action a little bit higher than I usually like 1.50 millimeter on the low E. I just raised it to 1.75. So it makes it a little bit more playable, but I am going to get some tools, and I'm going to level the frets on this. And funny enough, you know, even though it's got the high frets, they did ball the fret ends over nicely, and I didn't have to dress the edges of these at all. And then I just buffed them up with those micro mesh polishing pads, and then hit it with some mother's polish. This is definitely not as accurate as like the real custom shop Zakk Wylde Les Paul. This looks a lot like the Epiphone version as far as how the pattern and everything is on this one. They are passive pickups. They're definitely not active, and who knows what they are. They're not very hot, as you've seen in the video earlier. The bridge pickup isn't even as hot as the neck pickup. So tuners are garbage on this thing. These are the worst tuners I've had on any of these Chibsons. They don't hold at all, so the demo is going to be difficult. I'll probably have to, it'll probably be a little choppy because I'll have to stop and tune it in between each segment. Like I said, the intonation was a complete wreck. I'm probably just going to get a new bridge for this too, because I got that Silver Burst Les Paul custom that you've seen in another video. I started buying parts for it. I've already got the real Grover tuners, and I bought a real bridge and tailpiece from a 2016 Les Paul, and I started modding that, and that'll be in an upcoming video. I'm replacing the pickups in that, all the wiring and everything, and that's what this is going to require. I've already got it, so I'm going to spend the money, and I'm going to get the Zakk Wylde pickup set for this, so that I replace all the pots and the wiring and the pickups. I'll just pick up a used bridge and tailpiece off of eBay, and I'll pick up some used Grover tuners for this thing. I like the feel of the neck on it. It's just fine. Once I get the fret situation sorted out, you know, it'll be a decent player. This thing's a lot lighter than my Silver Burst. So who knows, you know, what factory these come from. There's several different factories over there. The headstock on this one isn't quite as accurate as on my Silver Burst. Again, you know, I prefer they just leave this headstock blank and I can have custom decals made. But it is what it is. That they put them out this way. If you don't like that, if you have a problem with it, that's cool. You know, everybody's got their preferences on it. There's plenty of videos out there with the real deal, but $14,000, $18,000 for the real Zakk Wylde camo Les Paul, not going to happen. Even the Epiphones now are bringing $1,000 to $1,500, and I just can't see spending that kind of money on, you know, an import guitar. And I had one of the Zakk Wylde Epiphone black and white bullseyes a long time ago, and this really feels pretty similar to it. It was a little bit better quality though, the pickups and the hardware and whatnot. But like I said, thing was pretty much hot garbage out of the box. I was very disappointed in this purchase. Like I said before, when you buy these things, you're rolling the dice, and I really lost the roll that time. It just needed so much work, and I got it playable, but it took a lot of work to get it even to this point. A couple of the frets were not even seated. Once I seated those, quite a bit of the buzz went away, but the nut is loose, and it was loose on there. It's not cut properly. I'm going to probably just replace that with a Graphtec nut, so I didn't even bother gluing it in for now. It's held in place good enough, but it's binding, so I just put some graphite in the neck slot, and that's helped it a little bit, because every time you bend the strings, it was wanting to go out of tune, and that seems to have helped that quite a bit. Like I said, it looks cool. Looks great hanging up on the wall. And for, let's see, it was $250 shipped, and then I got, you know, almost $40 credit back on it. So for what I paid, you know, it's worth modding, and it, you know, it like I said, it looks great hanging on the wall. And once I get done modding it, it'll be an awesome player. But again, if you're buying these things and you're hoping that you're going to get it and it's going to be playable out of the box and it's going to sound great, play great, it's just not going to. You know, if you do, that's awesome. You've got like a rare thing there. But most of the time, and you get these, they suck out of the box, man. They're the frets need work. And, you know, a setup's one thing. A lot of people can do a setup, but not too many people can do fret work. So you're probably going to have to take it somewhere unless you can do it yourself. And you're going to be very disappointed. So a lot of people that get these Chibsons or these Chinese copies, you know, say they're all trash because they get it and it's a mess out of the box. Well, it's kind of true, kind of not. If you can put the work into it and mod it, you can end up with a really nice guitar for not a lot of money. By the time I'm all said and done with this thing, I'll probably have about $500 or $550 in this, and maybe $600. And that's not terrible to have a good playable guitar. That's, I mean, gig worthy. You could take this thing out, play this thing, you drop it, you snap the headstock, you know, you're not going to be that worried about it. You're not going to really want to take your $14,000, you know, Zakk Wylde custom out and play it. This thing here doesn't really matter. If somebody steals it, yeah, it would suck, but, you know, you're not out a ton of money. So with that being said, I was very disappointed in this purchase, but you can't win them all. Getting a little microphonic with a lot of high gain. Well, it doesn't sound fantastic. The pickups, the tone pots, which you expect to have pretty much hardly any taper to them. It's not microphonic until you really get a lot of high gain and you really crank the volume. Then it wants to squeal a bit. That will be fixed though with the Zakk Wylde pickup set I'm going to put in it. I really like the neck on this thing. I'm going to spend some time and really strip all the finish off. It's just that's going to be a big process. I'll show probably a little bit of that when I do the mod video on this one. When I upgrade the pickups to the hardware, I'll show a little bit of stripping the back of the neck. Love the way the fretboard feels though, and it's already starting to get a little dark in some spots. Some people don't like that. I kind of like the way a maple fretboard, a raw maple fretboard wears in. It looks good. Very lightweight compared to my other Les Pauls, so I do like that feature. I'll probably put some eye hooks in like Zakk did on his. I'm not a big Zakk fanboy, but the dude's got some skills. So even with all the problems it has, I still dig it. I'm going to mod it, fix some of the issues it's got, And I think it's going to make a heck of a player once I get all the stuff done to it. You know, like I said, these things do require some mods, and you're taking a risk every time you buy one of these things. You know, could be great, could be complete crap. You just never know. So thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. We're over 2,000 subscribers now, and that's freaking awesome. Thanks a million, guys. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.